Okay. Welcome, folks. Hope you had a very relaxed day and a good day. Today in the training, we are going to talk about Ichimoku trading system. What is it? It's just a one look for trends, support, and resistance. Okay. So let's go to the next one. Okay. So what will be the agenda for this is like first we'll give an intro, which we'll talk about Ichimoku, what is Ichimoku and why it's been popular. Then we'll talk about the components of Ichimoku, like what are the various lines that are the technical indicators that we use in Ichimoku. Then what are the formulas? You don't need to know this, but just to get a level of saying hey, how these are calculated, because most of the charting tools will do it for you. But just to know what it does, we can have that. And then the trends and the momentum, how do we determine? Then I'll also talk about a few observations that I have. Then finally we'll look at some of the charts, see how it looks and what are the various trends and those kind of things. Okay, sounds good. All right, so let's move to the first slide. What is Ichimoku? Ichimoku was actually means one look. It was founded by a Japanese journalist, Goichi Hosoda. If you look, what does it mean is he wanted to have a one look to determine the momentum, support, and the resistance. So that was the basic intention behind this Ichimoku trading system. Because a lot of people use different indicators like moving averages, some people use MACDs, some people use different oscillators. So he wanted to get it all into one system. How does he do that? One is he wanted to look at even the past, and also he wants to look at the past, and he also wants to predict the future. So that was the intention behind this system. Okay, so let's move on to the next slide. Okay. So when I talk about Ichimoku, right, the system consists of 5 technical indicators, guys. And the terms might be a little bit confusing because it's Japanese, but there's an English version of it also. Okay. The first one is called the Tenkan-sen or the conversion line. That's what. What he did is what he said is average of the highest high and the lowest low of the 9-bar period. For example, if you look at moving average 10, right, we say, hey, it is the average of the prices over the last 10 days, right? Or if you take moving average 20, we say it's average. But here the calculation is a little bit different. They don't take the average of all the closing prices or that way. They take the average of the highest high and the lowest low. When I say average, it is highest high plus lowest low divided by 2. That's what it is. So it is not like all the closing prices divided by 10. That's not how the average is. It's only 2 prices and that is divided by 2. Then the Kijun-sen or the baseline is again the average of highest high and the lowest low of the 26-bar period. When you take, so are you seeing that the first one is shorter period, which is 9-bar period, and the second one is a little bit longer, which is 26-bar period. That's what they're talking about. We'll be looking at this very soon in the charts, but just to give you an idea, okay? Then the Senko span A is the average of the conversion and the baseline. The first 2 things that you calculated, it will be the average of them. And the Senko span B, or it is called also in English terms, it's called as a lead span A, or the lead span B is the average of highest high and lowest low in the 52-bar period. So there are 3 averages that they consider, 9, 26, and 52. And finally, the Chiku span is a little bit different, guys. What it is, you are plotting the current closing price in the past 26-bar period. So what do you do when you plot every day in the last 26-bar period? You will make a line, and that line would give you an indication about the momentum, about the current momentum of the price based on the past 26 bars. We look at it more at the charts. I know it may be a little bit over the head, but just bear with me for a minute, okay? Okay, the formulas wise, the Tenkan-sen or the conversion line is 9-bar price high plus 9 price low divided by 2, as I was mentioning, right? Then the Kijun-sen is again the same thing, Senkan. So the Chiku span is the current closing price plotted 26 days back on the chart. It is a lagging indicator, okay? And it's a little bit different from the moving averages. Moving averages will tell you the average of the prices, but this is not a actual moving average. It is actually a plotting to the back. I'll show you in the chart exactly how it looks. Then the Senko span B and A are plotted forward 26 bars. Remember, Chiku span is plotted 26 bars behind, and the lead span A and lead span B are plotted forward. So that means you can predict the future prices based on the current prices, okay? Now, one thing you have to remember is this is a complete system. Each of the indicators usually individually may result in false signals. So we always have to use them together, okay? So before I go there, let us open some of the charts at this point. Apple, let's look at Apple because Apple is one of the popular ones, right? But look at it. Now, if you look at here, are you able to see my screen, guys?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So if I look at Apple, Apple is not a very good indicator, but I just wanted to give you the red line here is called the conversion line. And the white line here inside the cloud is called the baseline. And if you see this yellow line here, which is called as a lead span A, and the white line below, which is forming a cloud here, between these two, they are called as a cloud. This is called as a lead span B. Now, and this, if you look at here, this is called the lagging span indicator. If you look at it, the current day price is plotted here. And the way they look at it, this Chiku span is also called as a momentum indicator. Whenever it is also called as a lagging span indicator, okay? Chiku span or lagging span indicator. Whenever this lagging span indicator is below the price of the price on that bar, 26 bars below, that means it is bearish. If this line is above this bar, then it is considered bullish, okay? Now, I just wanted to bring this up, okay? So this is now, right now, Apple is within the cloud. So what they say is, if you are within the cloud, that means that it is trending sidewards. That's why we have been seeing Apple going up and down, and all these kind of things, right? So this is what. Now let's take like a bullish stock. How does it look? Let's take FTV, like here. I see here. You see here the conversion line is above the baseline and the price is above the, generally speaking, if the price is above the cloud, it is called as an uptrend. That means it is in an uptrend. Usually what happens when the stock is in an uptrend, it will always come back to this cloud and it will again bounce back. That's what is the general see here. It came here, it bounced back, it went back, and then it's coming here. It might even come here again and it will bounce back. This is called as an uptrend chart. And one thing you want to notice here is, look at the lagging span all the time. It is always above the price. From right here, it is above the price. It is up. What I meant by above the price is, if you see here, the lagging span is ending here. That because it is always 26 bars behind. So if you see here, the price is 63.37 and it is greater than that, the lagging span. The lagging span is 66.50. So that means.
Hey, Srini. I think some folks are in the waiting room.
How can I help?
More?
Yeah.
I don't see. Oh my God. Oh, sorry. Okay. 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 So, so far we got the point, right, guys? The conversion. So if the price is above the cloud, that means it's an uptrend. Let's take another example when it is below the cloud. Okay. I'm going to show you another one. Look at this. Let's take vertex. Look at this. The vertex is below the cloud. If you look at the lagging span, it is way below the price. So this is called as a bearish stock. That means it is really bearish and it is really there. Now there might be some stocks like Apple, which is trending sidewards. It is within the cloud. So this is called as a trending sideways stock. That means it's not yet decided whether it wants to go up or down. When it decides to go below the cloud, then we know that it wants to become bearish. If it wants to go below the top. Let's look at Tesla, how it has been teasing us. The Tesla is still a bullish stock. You see this? It has been always above the cloud. But there is one thing which you want to watch out is the lagging span is like going below the price. So now you have to be very extra cautious that you are very close to getting a result of whether it wants to go bullish or bearish. Either this should go up or down. But you should not use the lagging span by itself. You should use it with the other indicators. The one thing we need to notice here, it is above the cloud. That means it's bullish. And if you look at the Tenkan Sen, the Tenkan Sen is above the baseline. That indicates it's bullish. But here, the lagging span is below the price. So that is one of the conditions that is not satisfied. As a trading system, you want to have all of them satisfying. And also, if the price is above the conversion, that means you know that you're on a short-term uptrend. That means it really wants to go up. That's what it means. Okay. I will stop here. Any questions?
Srini, I know some folks joined late. Wondering if you can go through the first slide again, just to make sure the terminology is clear.
Absolutely. Yes. Anyway, this is going to be recording, but I will just tell you in brief what I was talking about, guys. For the folks who joined late, we were talking about the Ichimoku trading system. Ichimoku trading system was found by a journalist. Why? Because he wanted to have a one look. Ichimoku means one look. One look to provide to get the support, resistance, and the momentum. All of them in one look. So how do they do it? They do it with a system of 5 technical indicators. The first technical indicator is called the Tenkan Sen or the conversion line. Okay, the Tenkan Sen or the conversion line. You see this? This is what it is. The Tenkan Sen or the conversion line, and the second one is the Kijun Sen or the baseline, and the third one is Senkou Span A, and the fourth one is Senkou Span B. So what do these things indicate? That is what I was explaining in the charts. I'll explain it again. And the Chikou Span is the lagging plan indicator. Now, how these are calculated? The Tenkan Sen or the conversion line is nothing but the price high, the average of the price high and the price low over a 9-bar period in the time frame considered. For example, if you're looking at the daily chart, you are looking at the 9 price bars, which is the highest and which is the low, and you take the average of it. Similarly, Kijun Sen or the baseline is the 26-bar price high and 26-bar price low average. Senkou Span is Tenkan Sen plus baseline by 2. Again, this is the average of the conversion and the baseline that you calculate. And Senkou Span B, or it's also called as a lead span B, is a 52-bar price high plus 52-bar price low. In any of the time frame, this will work. Again, you have to be very careful that you don't mix up with these time frames. In every time frame, it will be different. For 4-hour charts, it could be different. The conversion lines and the baselines. For the daily charts, it could be different, and those kind of things. So what is Chikou Span? Chikou Span is nothing but it is the current closing price plotted 26 days back on the chart. So the whole idea of this Ichimoku is you can determine the trend of the stock in the future from the past. That means if you know that in the past it was bullish, then you can say that it is bullish even in the future based on those indicators. That's what they are trying to, that is how this system is designed. So, and you have to understand the span A and span B, like Chikou Span is plotted 26 bars behind. Lag span A and lag span B are plotted 26 bars ahead so that you can predict the future prices. Okay, that is what we were talking about so far. So, and then we were just talking about different bullish and bearish situations. If you look here, the red line which you see is called the conversion line. And if you see the white line, let me show you some chart which is much more clearer. Maybe, let's see.
Actually, Prasad is also waiting in the waiting area. Can you let him?
Admit.
Ichimoku is a popular one, man.
Okay. I'm trying to see a good stock where it is a lot of difference. I'm just trying to see. 1 second, guys. Okay, this is very, very clear. So you see this is the conversion line, and this red line here is the conversion line, and this white line is here is called the baseline. This is the Tenkan-sen, this is the Kijun-sen, okay? And don't worry about the other one. Those are the moving averages that I have superimposed on top of this. But for right now, you'll only consider the red line, the white line, and we have to consider this cloud. This is the yellow line is called as the lead span A, and the white line here is called as the lead span B. And this is called the lagging span indicator. You see here, this is called the Chiku span. If you see this, you can see the price of this Chiku span only 26 bars behind. You won't see, if you click on here, you won't find it because it is plotted always 26 bars behind. Now, what is the idea behind this? If the price is above the cloud, when I meant above the cloud, it is above the lead span A and it is above the lead span B, then the price is supposed to be uptrend. If you look at this chart, guys, it went briefly into the cloud and it went up. So this means it went into an uptrend. Look at this, it went in uptrend and then it retraced back to the cloud a little bit and then it went up again in uptrend. So the whole way it has been an uptrend. This is pool. Now, if you look at it here, along with this uptrend, the lagging span also has been always on the top of the 26 bar. That means the lagging span that you have plotted, as I was mentioning here, the current closing price is plotted 26 bars ahead. So if you see here, this line is above the closing price, the bar below. That means it is a momentum. That means this stock has a lot of momentum. This lagging span indicator is also called as a momentum indicator. Now, if you look at this cloud A and this lead span A and lead span B, they extend even 26 bars ahead. That means, you know, as you see, as the price increases, this cloud is also moving up. So this is dynamic supports and resistances are created for you. As the prices keep moving up, the lag span A, the conversion line is also moving up. Remember, it's an average of price high and price low, and even the baseline will keep moving up. You see here, if you see here, the conversion was here, but as it kept on moving up and up and up, and the baseline kept on. The baseline will move slower than the conversion because this is a 26 bar price high and price low average. Similarly, the lead span B, which is a 52 bar price high and price low, will move slower because it's 52 bars, right? So every time, so this kind of gives you, this is a complete system which you can use to see how you are moving on, right? It is dynamically changing every day, and that will help you to understand, okay, what's going on and all those kind of things, okay? For those folks who joined newly, this is what I covered so far. Any questions you have? Okay, I assume that's nothing, okay. So there are three kinds of markets, guys. One is bullish market, where you're completely above the cloud and you're sailing through. And as I was mentioning before, there is something called a bearish stock. So this is the bullish stock that I was showing an example. Let's take a bearish stock. For example, Vertex. Look at this. This is way below the cloud. It is very, very bearish. And look at this. Conversion is below the baseline. So it's like this, right? When the moving average 10 goes below the moving average 20, that means it's a bearish signal. Same thing works here, but it moves slower than the averages because what happens is, when this happens, this means it's really bearish. and look at this lagging span. All the three indicators are pointing to us that it is bearish. Okay, so that is why this is a bearish stock. And similarly, look at the next stock, LHX. LHS is just went below the cloud and it is trying to go down because the lagging span is down and everything is down. So again, you have to understand it's not going to go down in one line. It will always come back to this cloud wherever it went and then it will go back. So you need to buy enough time to buy wherever you want to go. Okay. Again, one thing I wanted to tell in this Ichimoku is it will tell you that the stock, the uptrend, the supports, the resistances, but it won't tell you where you need to sell your stock. For example, where you can exit, because the supports and resistances keep changing dynamically, right? So you need to use, you need to make a smart judgment there based on other indicators. For example, I use here something called as on balance volume or TSV, time segmented volume, which is telling me that this is negative. And but if you look at the money stream here or the money stream, it is at the lowest bottom. So is it possible that it can pick it up? So you have to be watching this and look at the stochastics. It's a 1079. So do you want to stay longer in this? That is the question. But again, recently we have seen the momentum stocks, they keep going up and up, though they may be oversold or overbought. But again, we have to use our judgment to make this call, whether we want to stay in this, how long and how many times. That part Ichimoku may not be able to tell you. So that we have to determine through other means. Does that make sense? Okay.
Srini, can I ask you one question?
Sure.
So let's say it's a when we look at the Ichimoku's chart, it's above cloud, but when the earnings season, let us say for example during the earnings season, let's say they have not made what projections are. So what happens in that case?
One thing, I mean, I think I got your question, but maybe I'm wrong. Please correct me if I didn't get your question. During the earnings season, will this cloud tell us whether it is going to go up or down? Is that what you're saying? Yeah,
correct.
What you're saying? Okay. That's a good question. So if you look at it today, right, I wanted to give a couple of examples. For example, let's say Microsoft, right? Yesterday we entered at the Microsoft. What happened? It went above the cloud and it went below the cloud today, and it went and it retraced and finished at the cloud. If it doesn't finish above the cloud tomorrow, then there is a very high possibility that it needs a lot more time to get out of this cloud, because the whole assumption is usually if the cloud is, if the stock is very bullish, what will happen is the price will come up and it will stand above the conversion line, basically, and it will say, hey, I'm ready to go up. Let me give you a classic example because this is a future one, right? But let me talk about Apple. This is the bigger move, right, that Apple did. You remember these guys before the split? Where it went to 400 or 3, something like that. Before the split, it went to 400, right? Something like that. So if you look at here, Apple was trading below the conversion line, but it was above the cloud, but it went. And look at here, guys, on the earnings day, it finished above the conversion was 94.19 and it finished at 96.19. And you know at what time it finished? It finished like around 1:30 or so, 3 or 2:30. And from there it picked up and it went up and up and up. That's what it is. So what I would highly recommend is charts never lie, which we don't know what is going on. For example, this is one of the ways to look at and say, hey, this went bullish and we are going up. Did I answer your question? No? Yes.
Yeah, you did, Srini, you did. But again, I think the Microsoft, right? When that's a good example, right? What was the reason why it went to behind the cloud, below cloud again? We are expecting it should go above cloud, right?
No, I'm not expecting anything. Okay, my expectation is not. See, that is the whole point, right? When you're trading, you don't expect anything. You trade what you see, right? basically when you see it is below the cloud, that means it is telling you something. If suppose tomorrow, for example, we played these calls, we are in these calls right now for this week. But if it is not going to go above the cloud, either I would like to roll out the calls to a later date and see what happens, or I would like to get out of this trade. The reason being is, there is something that is telling, the charts are telling, see, for example, it finished here, yesterday, it finished above the cloud. It was the first day above the cloud. And then it gave up, it looked like a false signal. Then it came back and it hit it here. And I mean, this is post-market, don't worry about it. The post-markets are a little more. So it didn't cross the conversion, but if it crosses tomorrow, usually what happens is from the cloud, it will go to the conversion, then it will consolidate there, and then it will make a move up. But the thing is, it has gone down, so it looks like it requires more time, and that's not going to happen for the earnings date tomorrow. Does that make sense? Excuse me. Let's take any other example, guys. Anything that finished earnings?
Can you check Twilio?
Huh?
TWLO, Twilio.
Twilio. Let's look at, they finished earnings?
Yeah.
So look at this. Let's remove all the things, right? I'm just having this, right? So look at this. Twilio, when did they give earnings?
This evening.
Huh?
Just after hours. Today? Yep.
Okay. Today, what did they do? They closed below the conversion, right? Let me see. Where was it? So where did, one second. Let me go to regular hours. Oops. Am I in regular hours? Why am I? Okay. So this is the regular hours, right? The regular hours, what happened? It closed below the conversion, right? And where did it close now after the earnings?
It was 296 or something.
So that it went down, right? Basically.
Yeah.
So this is an indicator. See, it closed below the conversion for the earnings, and now it went to the baseline, which is now the next support is the baseline, right? So again, these conversion baselines can also be used for support and resistances. Once it crosses the conversion, it will go to the baseline. Once it crosses this baseline, it goes to the cloud. Once it crosses this, it can go to the lead span A. Once it crosses this one, where it goes, we have to see. Then we have to keep the support here, like, you know, your stop, trailing stop here, and see where it goes. So definitely this stock doesn't have the legs to go above because it closed below the conversion and it closed below MA10, moving average 10. So it doesn't have the legs to move up. Does that make sense, what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that is why it closed below. Now tomorrow you might see it going to 281 also. That could be a possibility. It is definitely a possibility, but I'm not sure if it is tomorrow, but it will go to 281. And then from there, it could bounce back. If you look at the Fibonacci retracement for this, if you draw full Fibonacci retracement, it is at 62.5. Yeah, it will go to the 50. Then you might go to 87.5 and then it can come back. But again, definitely it is going to hit the baseline. That's for sure. Because it closed 3 days above the conversion line. So it has to go to the baseline. Hello? Okay.
Yep, makes sense.
Okay. So let me, before we go further, let's finish the, I mean, we can do this charts because this is the best way to learn, looking at the charts at different situations. But let me finish some of the observations that I have in my, this thing, okay? 1 second. So one thing I've known is when line, you know, as I was mentioning, right, Chiku span is considered the momentum indicator. When line above the closing price is 26 bars ahead, then saying lead span A and lead span B together form a cloud. When above the cloud, it's considered uptrend. When below the cloud, it's considered downtrend. Now, conversion line above the baseline and above the cloud and Chiku span. Remember I told you when conversion line is above the baseline and the price is above the cloud and Chiku span is above the 26 bar price, it's considered a bullish condition. Similarly, when it is below the baseline, below the cloud, and below the 26 bar price, it's bearish. Okay. So some of the observations, what I've seen is conversion lines are very, very close to MA10, moving average 10. Basically, they are a 9 bar price and low, but they'll be very close to moving average 10. So a lot of traders on the floor used to use moving average as 10. So sometimes, even though it will cross the conversion, it will go to the moving average 10 and then bounce back. And the baselines are very, very close to the moving average 20. 26 bar price, high and low corresponds to 26 bar low. They may not be exactly the same, but they may be very close. If I can show you in the chart. One thing I found out is sometimes this, whenever you're passing through this, right, it is always good to have a flat line supports and resistances. Prices tend to either rebound from the closest to flat line support or break down from the closest flat line resistance. Sometimes these guys, right, when we do the 1 bar chart, may provide fake signals. Always would like to have a confirmation for 2 days. For example, 2 days above the conversion line. But when you have a 2 days above the conversion line, that at least tells you, okay, this is not a fake signal. Okay. So now considering that, let's look at this Twilio example only, guys. If you look at it here, where do you think its flat lines are? Anybody can tell me where is the flat line that you can draw? Are you guys aware of flat lines? Any one of you here? Okay. Flat lines are nothing but a support that is drawn with the two closing prices. So if I draw here, I see these two very close to each other, and I don't see here. So there's a very good possibility of Twilio going to 262.97 before it even thinks of rebounding. So from the baseline, it can go here and then it goes here. So these flat lines are also very, very important to have it. Just with Ichimoku, you may not, sometimes you might say, hey, I'll buy it at the baseline, but you might see it going down further and hitting this one and then rebounding fast. So it's always good to have this flat lines also in your things so that it will help you in identifying things, right? And the other one, if you look at here, the closing price is 283, and here the closing price is 286, so that's not very close. But here it is 262.97, and here 262. So this is good. So we can see this one going to this one, to 262.97 and then rebounding. Whereas if you take Microsoft went below the 211.60 flat line today. If tomorrow, I don't think there's definitely a chance for it to roll out, or we have to take away these calls. Basically because it might go to 214.65 tomorrow because before the earnings, but it definitely cannot cross all three of them together. Basically the baseline, the lead span A, the lead span B, and this one. So recently the market has been very, very volatile before the elections. It's like throwing so many fake signals. So we have to be very, very careful of not getting burning down and taking the minimal losses into this. Okay, that's one thing. And another thing I wanted to talk about is this one, right? So look at this, the flat line today it went up, but it is still, this one is conversion is 1 day below, but let's see what happens here. Okay, any talk that you want to see, guys? I think we are pretty much, I've covered about the Ichimoku. Is there anything that you want to talk more on this?
Hey, Srini, how about shop?
Shop. Okay.
Yeah, that's a good
Shop
one.
is like rebounding from the baseline. It is going here. So let me remove all of my lines. Maybe I have too many lines here. So it is rebounding from here, guys. So where are we going? The next stop is the conversion, which is 1053. So that could be the first stop for it. So it is going to 1053. And from there, will it go up or not? We have to check it out. Just checking if there is any resistance or anything like that. Okay, this looks good. Let's see what happens. Okay, so you see this, the flat line is also in sync with this conversion line, which is coming to 1053.59. Okay, so this will be the first stop for the shop. Does that explain? Was that Raghu who asked the question? I'm sorry.
Oh, no, this is Prasad.
Oh, hi, Prasad. So,
Yeah.
Prasad, the 1053 is the first stop. Then if it closes 2 days above this 1053, then we can think of the next one at 1097. Okay.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's.
Unless anybody else has another one, can we look at square as well?
Yeah, sure. Square is again, it is below the conversion, it is going down. If you see the flat line here, the flat line, first stop is the baseline definitely, because it is already, did it reach it already? 166.77, yeah, it already reached it. So it is trying to rebound from that level, but I don't think it has legs yet. The first stop is at 155.99. So what happens is when it comes to the baseline, sometimes it can get to the conversion again for a short move and then make a move again down to the cloud, right? So 155, 146.55. So you might see a short-term move, but definitely not a bullish move.
Got it. Yeah.
Can we check PayPal, Srini?
Which one?
PayPal?
PayPal. Okay.
Yeah.
PayPal is again, PayPal is a classic in the sense it had a 2 flat support, but it closed above this 197.03. So what happened is when it came down, it didn't go to this support. It just closed and went in. It covered this. Now it is looking to go up, but I will be cautious to see if it crosses this conversion line and then go up, which I'm assuming it will go because the time wise it looks good, but we have to see. Wait here, 220 is the target for the PayPal. Let's see. But it closed above this flat line support, 197.20, 197.03.
Could you, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, Diwakar, I was just going to say, how does it work? Because PayPal and Square are similar industries, right? Are similar services or that they offer, right? So how could it be that much different?
I mean,
no, but it is
go
not
ahead.
about this thing, right? It depends upon how fast. See, for example, right? I didn't say this target is very big, right? It is only 220 here, right? So it can reach here. While it reaches 220 here, Square can go to 180, right? To the conversion line.
Okay.
Or you see the next flat line will be here. All I'm saying is it is not forming a higher high. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay. The way I read it is I thought Square is a little bit bearish versus PayPal is a little bit
it is
bullish.
not. None of these stocks are bearish. Basically, if you look at it, they are all above the cloud, basically.
Okay.
But again, what is happening is there is a retracements happening, right? See, the stocks don't go in the same order, right? Basically. But the thing is, but if you look at it, look at this. Whenever a stock like this, when it makes a big move, basically, like Square had a very big move here, right? But like, look at this. This was the previous wave. The previous wave was at around 170.46, 166.66. And look at the next wave. It went way over to 191, right? That was a big move. So it gives up and comes back to the 25% retracement, usually, right? I mean, that's what it is, right? So Netflix also did the same thing, if you see here. Netflix, it came to the 25% retracement after the earnings. You see that? So usually when such big moves happen, even PayPal, after that move, it can make that 25% retracement, right? But the thing is, it hasn't even gone to this guy, right? We have to beat this and go here and then hit that. That's what I'm saying. But again, again, I may be wrong, Prasad, but the prediction is based on the observations and all those things. But again, the flat line, it closed above the flat line. So again, it has to cross through this Ichimoku and then go up. That's what.
Yeah. No, I understand. And I'm just, the fact that you're all talking about short term, it's not the long term kind. Okay, got it.
No. We are okay. Let me tell you one more thing about short term, since we brought this up, right? Let's look at square again. 1 second. If you look at here, right? If most of you know moving averages, right? Moving average 10 will be like a short term uptrend, right? And we call it a golden cross when moving average 10 crosses over moving average 20. If you look at here, it crossed here. Do you see this?
Yeah.
Moving average 10 crossed over moving average 20, and that's why you had this big move, right? Basically. Now this moving average 20 is coming, and where is the moving average 20 here, right? If I see here, it's at 179.19, and moving average 10 is at 182.60. The day this goes, moving average 10 goes over the moving average 20, goes below, that means we are on a short-term bearish trend, right? I mean, it's not a bearish trend, but you're like very short-term.
Yeah,
right?
I got it. Yeah.
And then you are like, then you don't want to short it unless it's below the cloud, right? Because the moves will be very quick, and also you'll be seeing a lot of volatility going back and forth, right? It's not like persistent. So what I would suggest is, usually if it is above the cloud, don't short. The reason is, unlike it is like we shorted once with 10, and it really burst it off, because some of the technique we never know, right? There's a reason why it is with bullish, right? But if we are below the cloud, then the movements will not be that big. That's all I'm saying. That's all.
Okay, got it.
So again, these are all signals. There will be some fake signals as usual, like any other things, but we have to be using the other indicators to make sure that it is going around volume and all those kind of things. For example, if you see here,
can you look at GSX once, Srini?
Okay.
Maybe you can compare with GXX and explain why that was so bearish.
What?
GSX.
CXS?
GSX. G for jar. Yeah.
Yeah, it went below the cloud, right?
Yeah, I know, but
okay.
Indicator was showing. Indicator was showing way up, and suddenly it went down. I mean, what would have caused, do you think, and what do you see further happening to this?
The first thing is basically I will first draw the flat lines. Basically, I will draw the flat lines. So the first one I'll draw is here, which is 78.56, right? That is the first stop here. If it purely from the flat line, it can go to 78.75. And then we will take you to the, if it crosses that, then we are going to get into the cloud, which is 89, or is there another one?
We are already at 68 right now, right? So yeah. You're saying that 68. Yeah.
What I'm saying is, so you see this 87.50. So this is very, very close to this lead span A. Another thing what we saw here is the lead span. One more thing I wanted to tell you here. If you see here, this is the lead span A went below the lead span B. You see that? That is also a bearish trend. Remember in the cloud here, this one is above the lead span B, which is the, this is the baseline plus Tenkan-Sen average. And this line, this white line is the 52 bar high. Whenever the higher averages go above the lower averages, that means it's a bearish sign, right? So when it changed here and it went down, so that's what happened. And it just completely went in, and that's where it went bearish.
So you're saying that we had an indicator that's telling us that it will go down?
Yes. Only thing is, definitely the charts will show something. It is on our human capability to look at all these things and judge it, right? Basically, if you see here, here you see this, the lead span B was way above the lead span A here. It was giving you that indicator. And you see this, the conversion line. Where is the conversion line? One second. conversion line also went here, but this was a lagging span. But this should have caused an alert saying that this went above this one, right? So that's
Maybe one question for you on, as you look at ETFs and like UVXY, especially you mentioned volatility is high. UVXY, that's sort of like the short-term VIX futures. You know, I think it spiked today.
okay.
Could you apply the Ichimoku analysis to that also?
Yeah, sure. So if you look at UVXY, this is ultra short, this is VX futures, right?
Right.
Okay. Definitely this one is going down. Basically, did it touch the baseline 1933? Did it touch it? Yeah, it touched it and it is trying to go down now. So this is definitely below the cloud, right? Think about it like this. It is below the cloud. It is not like anything bullish or anything like that. And if you draw the flat lines, the first flat line is here somewhere, which is 1958. So if you look at here, this is closing at 1958 and this is closing at 19. Yeah, this is at 1958. So this is where it is supposed to go. And after that, we have to see what is the next flat line, or it may go to this one, 23, 27. But this will be a very slow move because it is slightly bullish because it's below the cloud. And look at this. This looked bearish for a long period of time because this lead span B is above the lead span A, and it has always been below the cloud, right?
Yep.
So, but this would be the opposite, right? So bearish meaning that it would be a
No. Think about it like
bullish
Prasad. I got your point, but what I'm saying is, think about purely from the stock perspective.
Yeah, got it. Yeah.
Don't think like okay. Don't correlate like okay, this means that. Okay, then you can correlate with the other one, right? Yeah.
No. What I meant was, since this is a short, like so it is to the broader market, it is actually a bearish trend. I mean, sorry, a bullish trend.
Yeah.
I mean, indicating heavy volatility, right? Given the elections and uncertainty of stimulus.
There is no volatility. The reason is the volatility is not very high, but there is a very sidewards market. See, you don't see big moves, but what is happening is there's a very sidewards market. That doesn't indicate by volatility, right? That is what is happening now. If you see, most of the stocks are in the cloud. If you see Apple, it's in the cloud. It is not like moving anywhere. Whenever it's in the cloud, it's a sidewards movement. Look at SPY. SPY is like hovering around this area. So basically it is trying to get back to 337. But the good part about SPY is it went out of the cloud and it is staying out of the cloud. But look at this here, guys, in the future, how it looks. The lead span B is going above the lead span A. So the future prices are also telling us that this is going to become more bearish, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, we can make all these decisions, but again, these things can change quickly if some news comes, but we need to wait for these signals until we get it there, right? Yeah. So again, the things are changing. Look at, for example, here from this week, it just springed up in the last 2 days, this one.
Yeah, but Srini, don't you think there's a dichotomy in the market right now where the technology is going sideways, whereas the Dow and the traditional stocks?
I thought so, Prasad. I wish I was, but the stock, for example, if I look at SPY, right? SPY is like an indicator, right? Or you take DJIX, what is that? DJIA, right?
DJIX,
yeah. Why am I not seeing? Oh, I don't have that. Okay. Let's take something else. Okay, let's take XLK only, right?
No, but I think, Srini, today, wasn't there a big move on SPX?
Which one?
Like, 6 points, right?
SPA?
SPX.
Oh, FedEx.
Yeah. No, SPX, I'm sorry. The S&P.
Okay, SPY or SPX. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yes, yeah, SPY. Yeah.
Yeah, the same thing. The SPY and SPX represent the same chart, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right.
So that is what I'm saying. It is still above the cloud. Basically, it didn't go into the cloud. So what is happening is, it is like, the problem is there is a lot of indecisiveness here. See, it's going up and down, up and down. The problem is people are still not, maybe, there is one statistics that is being told is, the market has always gone up 2.3% 10 days before the election. So I don't know if that statistics will come into play this week. Basically from Wednesday. Basically, usually the market, see, we all know, right? The market goes 53.3% of the time in the whole year. Market goes 53.3% of the time, and it falls 46.7% of the time.
Okay.
So we have been having so many good days before. Maybe this is the time we are having some bad days too.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
And I think, remember when Trump got elected
mm-hmm,
in 2016, the market initially went down.
mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
again, yes, but the thing is, it was all bearish, and then it, I don't know, 2016, right? Yeah, let's see if you can see that chart. It will be awesome, but I don't know.
I mean, what was it like? Overnight, it went skyrocketed, right?
yeah, because
It
I
went
think at the time it was the market was expecting Hillary to
uncertainty.
win.
Right? It was uncertain. Trump's victory was uncertain. Market
Yeah,
doesn't
exactly.
like
What month
it.
was
They
it?
saw the regulations going down and cap rates, and capital tax rates, and all the other.
Oh, this is the market. Yeah, I remember this. See, January he got elected, right?
Yeah.
This is the,
No,
this is the
November.
weekly chart. Look at that. It just sprang up, and look at this. But the one thing you have to notice on the weekly charts, everything is bullish, right? Even when the Trump, this is January.
Srini, it is November. Not you're looking at the different one.
Yeah. It should
The
be
January,
November.
November 2016.
November 2006. Sorry, guys, I'm looking at wrong. This one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's now
2016.
November
This looks
8th.
very bullish.
November 8th of 2016, precise.
Yeah. This is what I'm saying is on the weekly charts, it looks very bullish. Even now, guys, if you look at SPY, right? If you are looking at daily charts, it won't give you a good picture. But if you look at the weekly charts, look at how bullish it is. You're seeing this? What I'm trying to say? So if you even on the November 2016, what we saw, the chart was very, very bullish. It was just that on the daily charts, it was showing. See, when we have the daily charts, what happens is there's a lot of noise there. It goes up and down. But on the weekly charts, it will give you, if you look at the more macro, those things, right? It will give you much more clear picture.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I would highly recommend, if you're looking for long-term moves, like for example, if you're looking at leap calls or those kind of things, it's better to go for, if you're looking at long-term, for example, like, if you're using stock replacement calls or anything like that, whatever you call it, basically go for weekly charts. That weekly charts will give you a much better view of where it is heading and all those kind of things. For example, if you look at Square, the same Square is bullish on the weekly charts. You see that?
Yeah.
So if I look at here, basically, again, it went to 62.5. So it has a very good chance of going about 200 now. But it may take at least 4 more weeks to get there. You know what I'm saying? So are you willing to, it all depends on your time frame, what you guys are looking for. Like, how much time we are willing to wait for this.
Hey, so Srini, what are your thoughts on Tesla now?
The standard question.
Tesla. I don't know, man. This stock is like, this is a very, very bullish on the weekly. So, and this is very, very bullish. It's on the 7th week. And definitely it has a target of, if you look at a Fibonacci retracements, it looks 25% retracement. It can go to 530, guys. If you have the patience and if you are a big believer of Tesla, go for November calls, November 20 calls, and be willing to roll over. But 530 is definitely on the cards, basically. But another 1 week, according to Fibonacci, it fell 2 weeks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th week. So 8th week is the Fibonacci number. So it can go to 530 and above. Even it can go to 600. The charts are looking extremely bullish with the GAN fans. It's just that something is happening in this thing. But one thing I wanted to suggest today, conversion is at 416 and it closed above it. Amazingly, it went to 411 in the morning, but it came back and closed above the conversion. So it is extremely bullish. But if you look at the daily charts, this is what is happening, guys. It is touching the cloud and it is rebounding now. I still think it is very bullish, but what we targeted was this week. For the 5th week, it didn't go. 6th week, it would go, but it looks like it wanted more time. So we wanted to capture for the 8th week.
Yeah.
Again, yeah. Again, if you're playing stock, definitely it's a bullish. Options, because it's very expensive. Definitely something that you want to think about playing spreads or something like that.
Yeah.
Srini, we are in the 1 week zone, right, for the election? Like, we are in the just exactly 1 week zone now. Next Tuesday, not this Tuesday, next Tuesday. Do you think we can guess where the market is going to be by looking at either Dow or S&P or something? Can we have the future vision of the market, you think, where it will be after elections, like with next Wednesday?
I think the market has already, for example, right? Let me show you this. I draw this GAN fan all the time.
I think more than the elections, the market is concerned about the coronavirus right now, the second wave.
They are not worried about because they have already factored in the Biden's win. So the market is already geared up for that.
If Trump wins, right? Like, what happened when Trump won last time? Market would not expect.
What I'm trying to say is, unless there is an upset, what I'm saying is the market is behaving. Okay, I don't want to put anything political statement, but what I'm saying is, market is already factored in Biden's victory, and it is acting according to it. Okay, maybe I'll put it that way. But having said that, if you look at here, the conversion is 339.27. It still is above the conversion, 339.39. And the moving average 10, it is below the moving average though, 10. So we have to see where it closes above this week. If it closes above 339, this area, which is very close, then it has a very good chances of going up. You see this? Basically, it is like, one possibility could be it could come to 326 and then it could rebound, or it could just start off from here. But I strongly believe it is holding on to this conversion and it's going up. So I think the market is, irrespective of whether presidential elections are not a big factor, as somebody was saying here. It looks like today the market fell because of COVID. But the presidential elections are not playing any factor at all in this.
Exactly. Yeah. You're right. I think Biden victory is already accounted for, and that was the reason for a little bit of like subdued. I think it hasn't gone up that much, right? And but Trump, if it had factored in a Trump victory, it would have gone up more.
Yeah. So
if
definitely, I can tell you one thing. Okay, to answer your question, Rampali, where SPY is headed? SPY is headed to 365, 370 area. That means 3,700 by end of this. That's what we are looking for.
Thank you.
Any other questions, guys?
Can we look at mRNA once, because that has been a very
Moderna, this
Moderna, right?
The cloud. I don't.
Yeah, it's in the cloud. It's hanging there since long, right?
Weekly is bullish, but something has to come out of this cloud if you are looking for short term, right? It's oscillating here.
It's sitting in the cloud, basically.
Yeah, it has to get to the bottom of the cloud, which is 6304 around this area. And
But as you said,
look at this.
lifespan, the span went up, right? Span B is
Yeah, it
above
is
span A
also
this
looking
time.
bearish now. Basically, this is bearish.
Okay.
So maybe they'll fail in their tests. I don't know what is going on there.
Okay.
And also they are doing this, they are taking a huge risk, right? Manufacturing at risk.
Mm-hmm.
So if their tests fail, all those vials have to be thrown away.
Yeah, though I think government has a backstop, right? But yeah, you're right. I mean, if the vaccine trials don't work out, I think that's what's markets factoring in.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So a lot of things are going on like that. Yeah, that's it. I'm really surprised actually. Even Gilead, if you look at Gilead,
yeah, I'm
Gilead is
surprised too.
way down. Remdesivir, look at this. It's so bearish. Nothing has affected. Even today, yesterday, FDA approved Remdesivir, but nothing is going on.
Yeah, still the span is lower.
Yeah, this clearly shows, guys. Sometimes the news, right? It depends on. We should not interpret the news. We should just look at the charts and see how it reacts. That's what I think. Like, look at Remdesivir, they said FDA approval, but nothing happened in the charts. It's still going down.
Yeah, no, that's surprising.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What about Zoom?
Zoom is zooming. Zoom is extremely bullish, guys. But I was telling somebody the flatline support has at 480.40. So I would wait for the entry there to get there, basically. So it would give up all this 473, 72, and it will come down, and then it will go for another move to 600. That's what it is. Zoom is definitely very, very bullish, basically.
Good
If
stuff,
you look
man.
at
Thanks, Srini.
this, the chart, it looks very, very bullish, guys. If I draw a chart here, if it goes here, it can go to 640 on the Fibonacci, 635.
Yeah.
But again, one thing to remember in options, guys, just because I'm telling the prices, be careful with your expiration dates and all. One thing I've noticed in this, even in our picks, but the thing is the time is not working because people are waiting on some news, I believe, anywhere. So buy a lot of time, basically on all the things that you do, if you want to trade in this market. Otherwise, sitting on hands is better.
I think you sort of like hit the nail on the head at the end. We saw that in the last 2 weeks, right, Srini, in some of the picks. So, I know some of you guys are already subscribed to the service. Others who are interested, let Srini and I know. I think, like Srini said, in addition to the picks, the entry and the exit point.
1 second, I will. So, any other questions before Diva we go there? Any other questions? I wanted to stop the share. That's why I'm asking on this one.
When you look at gold, precious metals generally.
Gold, gold has a lot of resistance. Okay, let's look on the daily charts. Bearish, my friends. Below the cloud, right? Basically. Gold is looking bearish. It can go down further. Let's look at where it could go. For the people who are, the flat line is here somewhere, 174.90. So pretty close. Okay, that's where it is. Did it answer your question? But one thing you have to notice here, everything is bullish on the weekly charts. Are you seeing, guys?
Yeah.
I have to let you know this. So if you're playing long term, all these things are all geared up for coming back stronger. So if you are not looking at a smaller time frame, if you're looking at a longer time frame, all these things will come back very big. Okay?
Yeah.
Anything else? Oh man, somebody came in, I couldn't let him. Okay. I should just, okay. So shall we conclude this meeting? I'll stop the share.
Thank you, Srini. A lot of good information, man.
Thanks,
Though
Srini.
though Vinay, it takes like a little longer for us to understand lots of things you're explaining.
Hey,
But
no,
great
don't worry.
information.
Like, okay, sounds good. Stop the share, guys. Yeah. Diva, it's